Hi guys, so this new wokeness is maybe finally over because this is the headline of the news, and I quote, Disney CEO Bob Iger comments on woke agenda criticisms. According to Sherman, Iger said that Disney creators have lost sight what their jobs should be. Iger states that he proposed of their role is to first entertain rather than to get a message across. He does add that storylines and themes that are filled with positive messages for the world are a bonus but should not be the main focus of a film. He lamented that the issue got worse when he left as CEO in 2020 and Bob Chapek took over until 2022. Okay, let's pause a little bit. It seems like they are playing political right now. They are being political. Okay, let's continue. During this time, films like Turning Red and Luca debuted, which caused quite the ruckus as the films seemed to subliminally take political stances. So in conclusion, Bob Iger have returned as a CEO of Disney again, and it seems like he is trying to make Disney profitable again, and claiming after he resigned in 2020, Disney went backwards because, as we all know, many films and series from Disney have been very woke and they hadn't made much money. A lot of them in the last few years not even break even. So let's take a look at Disney movies in the last 2 years that lost money. 2022 Turning Red. It's about the red panda. This said $167 million loss. I remember the budget was $250 million and it made only around $20 million. So maybe it was more than $167 million loss. I don't actually know why they perform this bad because the main characters seem very cute. It is that red panda. They seem to have a selling point. This red panda, kind of cute. I don't know why people didn't watch it. For me personally, I didn't watch this movie because I didn't even know that there was a movie about red panda in the theater. So next was Strange World 2022, $147 million loss. Again, I don't even know this movie existed. Next is Lightyear 2022 again. I also just found out a few weeks ago that they had animation about Buzz Lightyear in the theater in the last year. Don't know why. I didn't know that when it was released. It lost $106 million. Huge loss also. And that's all about animation in the last 2 years. Also, I just found out that Disney had Mulan already in the theater 3 years ago. I thought it was not released. But that's not all because Disney also owned Marvel. So in this year alone, there were 4 movies and series from Disney that they spent $1 billion in total, and all 4 of them were flops. Ant-Man, Quantumania, The Little Mermaid, Indiana Jones, Secret Invasion, which is very surprising to me because it was not even in the theater. It was just a series in Disney Plus. But the budget was $211 million. Who let them spend this much money on a bad series? Not even a good series. So Ant-Man, people call this movie a flop, but technically it made money. The budget was $200 million, box office made $476 million. So half of that went to Disney and it was around $235 million. So technically they made $35 million in profit with this movie. But it was a flop in terms of performance, I believe, because it received so many criticism from fans that this was not a good movie. This seemed like a kid movie. I agree with that because I actually watched this movie in the theater. It was very like they don't actually care about this movie. There's no logic at all. Next, The Little Mermaid 2023 version. This said the budget was $250 million and this said it made $569 million worldwide. So technically it made money, but I don't know how much because this said the film grossed 298. So it made money, but not a lot, and also received a lot of criticism because, as we all knew, Ariel's supposed to be a white girl with red hair. They had an African girl starring. So next was actually a flop. The budget was almost $300 million and it made only 335. Half of that went to the theater, so Disney made around $160 million, which in total was around $140 million lost. Maybe this movie is too old. I believe the majority of the fan base is too old now. I also don't actually care about Indiana Jones. So next, Secret Invasion, $212 million in budget and not even released in the theater, and also not even a good series. I actually watched every episode. Well, next, this is from the last year, Black Panther 2. Budget was around $250 million, made around $860 million, so that made a lot of money. Half of 860 was 430 minus 200. Maybe they made around $200 million in profit for Disney. But in terms of criticism, I don't think this movie was fun. I think it was kind of boring. Next, Thor also received a lot of criticism because it was another kid movie. But in terms of profit, it made a lot of money. The budget was $250 million and it made $760 million. Half of that went to the theaters, so Marvel would receive $380 million. So you have to minus the budget, and that would be around $130 million in profit. A lot of money. Maybe in 2022, it was still the time that people care about Marvel, but maybe it was the last straw because they released only bad movie. Doctor Strange, the budget was almost $300 million. Worldwide made $955. Half of that went to the theaters, so they would receive around $480 million. So you have to minus the budget. Maybe they made $200 million in profit. That's a lot of money. And also, I think Doctor Strange was the last good Marvel movie. It was not that good. It was not 10 out of 10, but compared to Marvel movies in the last few years, Doctor Strange was a lot better. I actually liked the CGI of this movie. It was so good. And when you compare that to Marvel movies in the last few years, it could win the Oscar if you compare it like that. So now let's take a look at Disney's stock price in this time frame. Not looking good. In this time frame, minus 3%. 1 month time frame, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, minus 17%. You could say 18% and max. So since 1983, and then the price peaked around 2021 at around $200. Now it lost around $100 in value. Stock price of Disney went back as the price in 2016. So they went backwards, 7 years backwards. Something happened around here, maybe Avengers Endgame, and then they started to become very woke and turn their back against their main target audience, which supposed to be male, younger male, older male, has been the main fan base of Disney, but in the last few years they try to please woke Twitter people, female, which as we all knew, they don't actually care about Marvel. You could see from the Marvel's performance, they try so hard to please younger female LGBTQ plus, but they didn't actually show up. They didn't actually care. All they did was tweet. Huge mistake from Disney. So for me, considering from the news that the CEO of Disney is trying to stop the wokeness, I would see it as a good news. I don't know how much credibility he have, but anyways, acknowledge their mistake is the first step of improvement. So I would take it as a positive things. And that's all, guys. Disney finally admit that they have been woke all along. After 2 years of double down, triple down, quadruple down, and they only hurt themselves. Moral of this story is don't trust Twitter people, especially if they are very woke and annoying. Thank guys. Don't forget to do YouTube things like subscribe, comment would be very nice. See you again.